actually going into a demo suite. I want to call it a dummy suite, but I just think that's not nice. So if you do not have a practice suite yet, Sheena, if you can drop that link again, there's a link in the Zoom for you to grab a demo suite right now that's already ready to test texting and email and making calls. All of it's ready to rock and roll. We want you to be able to follow along, whether you're watching the replay or you're here with us live. So you should be able to see a suite, and you see the practice suite in the upper left corner. Everybody can see this? Chris, give me a thumbs up. Yep. Okay, cool. So this is the window of the practice suite, the main view of the practice suite. And basically, if for all of our newbies, if Google and Outlook and Constant Contact or MailChimp and Calendly and Zoom and Simple Texting and Aloha or Review Wave, if they all had a baby, it would be the practice suite. The practice suite would come out of the birth canal and be lovely and branded and worded just for you. So we will take the coloring of your brand if we haven't already, and it will match. All of this will match the coloring of your brand. And that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, is making this a beautiful experience, both aesthetically beautiful and the way that you can move through it. So the first thing I want to do today is just go over the view that you're seeing and what buttons are relevant to every day and what buttons you really never need to look at, okay? The left side is our menu, and here you can see conversations, calendars, contacts, da 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 da, right? And then there's also a menu bar up top. So I want you to get used to looking across the top and down on the left side. Okay. The most popular buttons in the menu are the conversations window and the contacts window. You could just about run your practice suite through those two windows alone. The rest is it's all icing on the cake. So in the conversations window, there are a few things I want to note about this as I'm doing the bird's eye view. This is where if Lori texted me, emailed me, called me, sent me a Facebook message, sent me an Instagram message, sent me a fax, left me a voicemail, sent me a message on LinkedIn, all of it would show up in this window for Lori. As soon as Lori sends me a message, I'm going to see a little number pop up here. Lori, can you text the sample suite for me? Oh, I don't, yeah, is your texting set? Yeah, it is. If you can text me, and then I'll show you, you guys will see a little number 1 pop up here. What we're going to go over in this boot camp is how to get to these messages and how to answer them really quickly. And the goal is always 1 click. So the goal is you answer in 1 click because you just click on one thing, whether it's for directions or an appointment request or whatever it is, okay? So this is the conversations window. This is where you're going to spend most of your time. You'll also see that there are things up top here. The most important thing for you to see in this specific window is there's unread messages. That's one view. Recent messages, which you guys, no matter how much you try to delete these messages, they're still going to be there. So don't go through and try to delete your recent messages. You see how that number 1 popped up? That means that Lori just texted me, okay? And I can see the message hi, and then I can respond to that. And we're not going to do that now. I just want to show you the general view. They're starred, and the starred messages are how we use this for serving our clients. Let's say that you have a front desk manager and she's in charge of checking, or he's in charge of checking your messages every day or 4 times a day. If there's something they want you to see, they can star that message and they can say, hey, Doc, or hey, John, or whatever. I left some starred messages for you to respond to. That's the tickler system inside of the practice suite to keep the inbox organized. And then the idea is, let's say that Lori's message is in recents. It says, hey, let's say I'm like, this is really important. Lori said, hey, I'm going to star that here. And now if I go into my starred messages, Lori's message will show up there. If I go back here to recents and I unstar it, unstar, This happens too, like every once in a while, you'll have to either, because it's an app, you'll have to refresh your screen. Don't get frustrated with it. It just comes with the territory. Now I go back in here and the message is gone because it's no longer started. Okay, so that is the conversations window, calendars window. The calendars, all you need to know about this right now is if you want your EHR calendar, for me, I use Jane app. If you want it to show up in your practice suite, then you're going to have to either ask us to do that for you, or you're going to have to ask Jane for, there's a code that they can give you, and it goes through Google Workspace. So that's all I'm going to say about that topic right now. The reason you would want your calendar to show up here is, let's say Janet's at my front desk and she's handling my messages, and Lori texts and says, "Hey, can I come in 10 minutes early today?" And I don't want my front desk person have it for whatever reason. Maybe they're on the other side of the world. Maybe they're not HIPAA certified, whatever it is. I don't want them in my EHR program. They can see my calendar here for my EHR. It's just another convenience factor. The other convenience factor is just a quick view for you. You're not going to be able to manipulate your calendar here, but you'll be able to see it. Okay? We use the calendar system in, and Chris, this is specific for you. We use the calendar system in the suite, how you would use Acuity or how you would use Calendly. It's the same thing. It's just in one place. So you can set up all different kinds of appointment types in your practice suite. If you see more than like 10 or 15 people a week, my suggestion is you're using an EHR program. If you're only seeing a few people a week, use your practice suite. It's HIPAA compliant. The only thing that I can't take care of for you is storing notes. I mean, you can take notes in the client's note area, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I always suggest that you have a software program specific to notes because I have to say that. Okay. So let's say that Lori came in and she had a headache today, and I wanted to just note that. I wanted to document for whatever reason. I can go to Lori's contact here and I can add a note in her file. You see this notes feature. So all I just did is click on her contact name and I can add a note here. I can make an appointment here. There are so many integratable features here. Let me go back to the main window. So I'm going back to conversations. The other thing I want you to see is, as long as I have Lori's name highlighted, you see this orange review request button here? This is one of the coolest features of the practice suite. If she tells me how great her care has been going, I can click this button and it will request a review for Lori. If Lori is in a bad mood and she gives me anything less than a 5 review, it will come back to me. It won't be forwarded to Google Reviews. So that's something that we set up for you. So that's conversations, it's calendars, contacts. So the contacts in the practice suite are going to be imported from wherever your contacts are right now. We have a lesson waiting for you that's going to teach you how to use this template. You're going to download your contacts, you're going to give them a tag, and you're going to send them to us. And you're going to do that with every group of contacts. And the main question for your contacts is, who would I want to, what groups would I want to send a message to, whether it's a text or an email or an e-blast? What are the groups in my practice that I want to organize so that I can send one group of people a message? In my practice, the way that I practice, it's active practice members, inactive practice members, and maybe family and friends. Those would be the 3 groups that I have. So I'll download all of my active practice members, and the rule of thumb with that is really anybody who has been on my schedule in the past 3 months. Anybody who has not been in my schedule in the past 3 months, and in Jane app, that's your unscheduled report. You can filter that. That's the inactive list. And then family and friends is obvious, right? Okay, step words. So this is a big announcement. Effective immediately, we now have what's called the Suite Flow system. And Suite Flow system are the main workflows that we give you with the practice suite. They're the main one-click solutions that are ready to rock and roll for you. The first one is the review flow, where you click the orange button and it sends a review request to whoever that person is. You can also manipulate the review flow to be sent on the 60th day that the person is part of your practice. I don't suggest doing that. I suggest that reviews are requested because somebody said you're really great and I'm happy with your care. I don't suggest automating them because somebody can be in a bad mood and you just never know. Lead flow is our lead pilot system, and it's how to make sure, this is so important, you guys, how to make sure before somebody comes to your office that they already know, trust, and love you. How to make sure if they're on your schedule for an initial consultation and you're about to spend an hour nurturing them in the office and they're paying you money and they're giving you an hour of time. Most doctors' time is worth between $500 and $1,000 an hour. You want to make sure they've already watched your videos, listened to your voice, read your reviews. That's all our lead flow system. Okay. The recall flow is one button to click to pull a report from your EHR saying these are the people who are lost in my office. They haven't been in, they're off of the schedule, they've fallen away, life took over. And it's one button to click to send them an email, a text, a voicemail saying, hey, it's Dr. Jody, I miss you. Is everything okay over there? And getting them back on the schedule. And then finally, the call flow system is if someone calls your practice suite and you don't answer, there's automatically a text that goes to them saying, hey, I see that you called our office. Texting is the best way to get a hold of us. How can we help? So those are the automations that we include with all practice suites. Okay, let me go back to the main window for the suite. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so your step boards are very similar. If anybody's ever used Trello, it's like a card moving system where let's say that let's use, let me just see which one I want to use here. Let's use and we're going to dive deep into this process in a couple of weeks. I just want to give you the gist. Let's say that we're on the call flow system. You'll be able to move a contact card from one place to the next to the next. And when you move the card, an email goes out, a text message goes out, and we'll walk you through setting up these workflows when we get to that part of the boot camp. Cool. I just want to give you a bird's eye view for right now. Payments, I don't really use this for my practice, but again, if you decide to not use an EHR and to use the practice suite instead, you can actually charge for your care. You can charge for courses here, and there are courses to show you how to set all of these things up. Outreach is a really important button. This is where you set up your social media. This is where you send e-blasts from. If you think that you want to get connected to the world on a big platform, you want to think about your outreach button. This is where you're going to go in and set up your social media accounts, where you're going to link them so that messages come into the conversations window. You guys see how there's a 1 in my conversations window now? That's that text message from Lori. Okay. I think those are the main things that I wanted to show you about the menu. Remember that we can add as many menu buttons here as you'd like. So if you frequent Facebook often, or Jane often, or ChiroTouch, or Instagram, whatever you're always going to and searching, Google Drive is another one. We can add a button in this area and we ask you what buttons you want in the setup. Okay. Let me also say that any of the things that you're hearing, if this is a review for you and you didn't get that thing set up, just reach out to us and we'll set it up with you. Okay. Okay, let me move on to the next topic. And I promise you guys I'll take questions before we hop off today. Different components, AI chat. Okay. At the top of every practice suite, let's say I'm in the conversations window, and this is relatively new. There's a yellow button here that says AI chat support. And if you're like, what did Jody say I need to do to send a text out? Or what was my instructions for creating a template or whatever it is? You can click the AI chat support and it's going to open up a chat GPT. So I'm signed into my chat GPT here. If you're not signed in, let me go ahead and log out. I learned this the other day. It'll just open up an empty chat GPT. So if my suggestion to you is if you have an account with ChatGPT, log in before you use this so that whatever questions you're asking, it will stay in your chatbot's memory. Does that make sense? So I can ask a question. We've trained this chatbot already. I can ask a question. How do I send a message for texting to my practice? And it will give me instructions from there. So I would say if you if you can first try out the chatbot that is in your suite so that you can become familiar with the process. Lori, can you just confirm if they're not signed into ChatGPT, does that chatbot still work just as effectively?
Not really,
Tell me more.
because the free the free chat GPT access is limited. So the
Uh,
logic there is not that good.
so they really want an account with ChatGPT, which is, do you know how much that costs?
$20 for the
Okay.
GPT
And
Plus.
you guys, if you don't have an account with ChatGPT and you can't swing the $20 a month, just reach out to me and we'll help you out with that. I really want you to be able to use ChatGPT. If you don't have an account with ChatGPT, please get one. It's time. It's 2026. With all due respect. Okay. Um, okay. And Sheena, for all of these snafus that we're discovering, please just make notes, a task list for us for after this boot camp. Okay, I wanted to go over the AI chat support. It's phenomenal. So that's the first in command when looking for help. The second in command is going to be our ticketing system. Let's say that you're lost and you just don't know what to do and you need help. Anything that is fixable that has to do with your suite, anything that's broken, anything that's not making sense, anything that's not working right, that's always free. And sometimes people will say, besides your practice suite flow systems, why would I want to use the practice suite when I can go get my own Go High Level account? And my answer is always go try Go High Levels tech support. See how long you wait. See how many conversations you have to listen to in Zoom. You don't want to go there, you guys. So the ticketing system that we offer with the practice suite is amazing because it's our team. And their job is to give you the best service possible. So you can always click the submit a ticket button. Um, if you need a design thing done for you, like if you need us to build something for you, there's a charge for that, unless you're in our done for you program. If it's a tech concern, we don't charge for it. It's included in your practice suite. If you need to be taught how to do something, we don't charge for that. If you need us to build something for you, there's a charge for it. Okay. And you can submit your ticket here. And that button, again, you guys, is at the top of your practice suite here. And the current rate that we charge for tickets is $2 a minute. If we start seeing that you're sending in tickets like every week, it just doesn't make sense for you to pay $2 a minute. You should upgrade to the Suite Success program because we do that work for you for free. Okay. Okay, so that is the how to get support. Finally, the last way to get support once you have a practice suite is in our suite support channel on Slack. Sheena, if you can drop that here again. The coolest thing about that channel is we have 3 years now of questions, and you can always search the channel for the questions that people have asked. We also take all of the questions and we further train our chatbot with the questions and answers. We further train, I'm sorry, we add Q&A to the Slack channel itself. So if you have not yet, please get into that Slack channel. It's in your Zoom link there. Okay, let me go back to my notes. Um, Templates for texting. Let's go into that. So let's say that Lori texts me and she says, Jody, I need directions to your office. Or Jody, someone just texted me this last night. My kid's throwing up. I want to get her adjusted. Are you okay with that? right? Or what's your fee system for a new incoming client? Or these are the questions that we get often. When we build your practice suite for you, we're going to ask you questions about your practice. We're going to scrape your current website. We're going to go to your social media. We're going to study you and we're going to grab all the information out there on you. And we're going to create a ChatGPT file on you so that we can say to that file, hey, file of Chris, how do I write out directions to get to Chris's office in a text? And we'll take the answer that the chatbot gives us, and we're going to create what we call snippets. Snippets and templates are the same thing. And we're going to create snippets for all of the snippets are um, in light of or in respect of the different workflows that I already told you about. We want to make sure that they're easy to answer. Um, there are easy to answer templates ready to rock and roll for any question that comes your way based on the workflows that we give you. So in your suite, by the time it's delivered, you will have snippets that look like this. This is just the texting snippets with your words and the details about your practice. And let's say that Lori sent me a text and she said, "Hey, can I come in? I have COVID." Right. I can go to my COVID policy, click on it. This is just an example snippet, and I won't have to rewrite it over and over and over again. We have those snippets for email. So here are actually, there are no snippets in this suite for email, but by the time they're delivered to you, you'll have email snippets for first visit, appointment requests, directions to your office, and then you'll have texting snippets for just about everything you could possibly want. If you're like, Jody, I don't like the snippets that you guys gave me, how do I change them or how do I add to them? You simply go over, I'm in the conversations window here. I'm going to go over to snippets and it gives you the option to add a new snippet here. You can organize them by folder. You can really geek out on this. And again, if you're like, how do I do that snippet thing? You can click the yellow AI ChatGPT button and ask, how do I create a snippet in my practice suite? Okay. So those are snippets. Um, Contact list preparation. Let's go through that. If I'm in Gene or ChiroTouch or ChiroFusion or Constant Contact, MailChimp, anything that has a bunch of my people in it, my Outlook address book, I promise you there will be a way to download that list of people. Okay. So you want to download it and you're going to fill these items out. And we give you this template. We want the full name. If it is easily populated, you don't have to go through and type out first and last name. If you can only extract first name, last name, email, cell phone, you'll definitely be able to extract that stuff if it's there. Sometimes like Constant Contact might not have cell phone, and that's okay. Just give us what you've got. Home number, that's up to you if you want it in your practice suite. Some people don't. You might want to make calls from your suite and try the cell number. And if the cell doesn't work, you send it to the home number. You may want to use workflows in the practice suite that send birthday cards or birthday gifts like mugs, hats, t-shirts, whatever. There are all kinds of you can do handwritten notes from the practice suite in a workflow. If you're going to use stuff like that, you want to include city, state, address, postal code. I love the idea of adding date of birth. Another reason why you want to use the practice suite as opposed to just going to go high level and signing up is our suite is HIPAA compliant. So you can add things like date of birth to your practice suite, knowing that you're checking all your boxes and you're doing your compliance piece. I like the idea of you including date of birth in case you want to do a birthday workflow. And there are some really cool birthday workflows in the practice suite. And then I also like the idea of you including when that patient's or client's or practice member's first visit is, because then you can, if you want to set up a workflow for reviews, you can do it based on their first visit. And let's say like on the year anniversary for each person, you want to send a box of chocolate or whatever you want to do, you can do that as long as that first visit is in there. And these are things that you can easily extract from your EHR or constant contact or whatever it is. So I want you to remember this. This is really important. We're going to give you this sheet. You're not going to be able to type into it. So don't ask me to share it with you. Please don't, because I'm not going to. You're going to file, make a copy, and you're going to call it your own. So mine would be Jody Dinnerman contact list. Okay. And then immediately, and all of this is in the lesson for this piece, immediately you're going to share it with orders at gostaffless.com so that our team can then take your contact list and put it in your practice suite for you. Okay. The other thing I want you to note is I have an active tab down here, and let me just get rid of my bottom menu bar. Okay. I have an active tag and inactive tag. Let's say that you're a chiropractor and a midwife. I've seen that happen. Let's say that you're a physical therapist and a massage therapist, or let's say that you have 5 different practitioners using your suite. You can add as many tabs to this as you want. Each tab is one tag, only one tag per list. Okay. So we've had clients combine all of their tags on one list and then want us to separate it. I'm telling you right now, you don't want us to do that because we're going to charge you for the time and it'll just send you spinning. You want to download your active practice members and fill out the list. And then your inactive practice members and then fill out the list one at a time. Send it over to orders that go staff list and we'll put it in your suite for you. The most common questions that come up around this are what's considered inactive. And as I said previously, really for my practice, if they haven't been in 3 months, I feel disconnected to them. And I'd call them inactive. Some people are like, Jody, I'm only going to see you. I live in horse country, so there are a lot of families who spend half the year here and half the year in Florida. So for those families, I may have a transient list. And in JNAP, they may be noted as transient patient, then they'll never go on the inactive list. Okay. Um, the other question that comes up is what if your contacts are already in your practice suite and then you upload them again? We will have the option because we generally do this for you. Don't try to do this, you guys. It's just going to waste your time. Let us do this for you. We don't charge for it, please. And if there are already contacts with the same email address, it will merge them. Okay. Um, I think that's everything I wanted to say about contact lists. Okay, I'm going to keep going and I promise you I'm going to give you time for questions. Study of the phone options in the suite. Are you guys ready? Let's go there. All right, Lori and I were jamming on this earlier. Okay, there are a few options when it comes to how to set up your phone in the suite. For me personally, when I started my practice suite, I was 23 years in practice. I had the same phone number for 23 years. People had it memorized. Or it was on one of my books had my phone number. I just didn't want to change it for so many reasons. It was on t-shirts, right? It was on the side of a building. So I wanted to bring my number over to the practice suite so that when somebody calls my office, they're calling my suite. They're not calling a phone that starts to ring. So I had to do what's called porting my number over. When I ported my number over, I didn't have a Lori or a practice suite team. I was dealing with Go High Levels support. I'm telling you guys, I have figured out the mistakes for you, okay? And I had no idea that my phone number was going to go dark. What does that mean? When you're porting a number over from AT&T or Verizon or Google Voice or whatever it is, when the number is getting transported or ported, you can't access it. If you call it, it just hangs up, right? If you text it, it just goes to a DND. Like you can't use the phone number at all. Depending on where it comes from and what kind of mood Go High Level is in and Twilio, which is like the godfather of all things texting, it could take up to 2 weeks to port a number. And I was like, well, that isn't good. That doesn't work, right? If I want to share this system with our clients, at that time we didn't have a practice suite, they're not going to want to wait 2 weeks. So we created what's called the bridge system, where we're going to give you a temporary local number. If you want to grab your number and put it in the suite, you get a temporary local number. We're
I
going to
love
text, we're going to text your entire practice and say, hey,
you.
this is Dr. Jen's temporary number for the next couple of
No, mi
weeks.
amor. I was about to
Somebody needs
open
to
it, but
mute
then you
out,
told me.
guys. Somebody mute. Um, Okay, we're good. So, this is the temporary number for the next week or whatever as we update our system. We write this for you, we text blast this for you. This is while your number is being ported. That's the number you use for that week or two. I'm telling you, like whispering to you, it's really more like 3 days that the number goes dark, but we tell you a week or two so that you're not disappointed. So that's option one. And then we send another text blast and e-blast out when your number goes live, when your old number is back in your suite. Option two is you get a brand new number. And we can manipulate that number to some extent. Like when we ask you about getting a new number, we take two area codes from you. They're not always available. So in my area, my 908 area code number is available. Sometimes it's not though. And then we'll also ask you what number patterns you have. If you are into numerology, my number is 33, so I really wanted 33 in my number. We can take those requests from you too. And that's the quickest way to get your practice suite going is just getting a new local number. We can also get you an 800 number. It takes a little bit longer and you guys can have a different number for every practitioner. You can have as many phone numbers in your practice suite as you'd like. Some people will have a specific phone number for new patients. Some people will have a main number, a number for new patients, and a hotline for the doctor, whatever you want. And where our coaching comes into play, or our desk hours with our coaches, is brainstorming on different ideas that you could go with to grow your practice. Because the goal is to grow your practice or sustain your practice, giving your patients or your practice members great options. Okay, so those are the options for your phone number. When the phone number is ready and you're ready to start taking calls and we're ready to rock and roll, there are a few things you can do with the calls that come in. Option one, which is my favorite, I never answer my phone ever. My phone calls are never forwarded anywhere. My patients or new practice members, if they're calling, they hear my voicemail. And after they hear my voicemail, they get a text. This is our call flow system. They get a text that says, hey, it's Dr. Jody. Looks like you're calling me. We actually don't use the phone around here. Text is best. How can we help? In my practice, that works really well. We have a lot of clients who practice in Amish country. There's no texting. We have clients who serve mostly people who are over the age of 70. Um, we have a lot of farming communities. If for whatever reason the main population of your practice does not text, you can have all of the calls that come into your practice suite forwarded to a landline, a cell phone, two landlines, 10 cell phones, so that whoever sees it first picks it up. However you want to set this up, we're here for it. And then the third and final option is you can have a desk phone. This is very cool. That sits on your desk. And when someone calls your practice suite, that desk phone rings. It's never forwarded. It's the consistent phone for your practice suite. I don't know why you would want that. If that's something that you want, we can set it up for you. That's our call flow system. Okay. Um, I think that that's everything I wanted to go over this week. So here's what I want to see for you guys before here, before next week, between weeks 1 and 2. I want to see that everybody's contacts have been imported into your suite. If you just got your suite today or yesterday, hopefully everybody has their suite. Lori, I know that Chris still needs his suite delivered to him. Let's get this done this week so that you're caught up for next week. I also want to see your texting templates happy and ready to rock and roll in your practice suite. I want to see your email templates happy and ready to rock and roll. I want to see your newsletter template created. Let me go into that before we hop off. And then I also want to see your call flow system set up. If you call your practice suite, and I'll show you in a minute how to find the phone number, and you don't get an immediate text, let our team know and we'll get it set up for you this week. If you go to send a template, whether it's an email or a text, and you don't like your templates or you don't see your templates there, let our team know. We'll get it set up this week. If you go to your practice suite and there are no contacts, you don't have your contacts imported, let our team know. We'll get it set up this week. Okay, I want to show you guys the newsletter template and how to find your phone number. Let's go here, and then I'll open it up to questions. So here I am in the demo suite. I'm going to go to settings. This is how to find your phone number. And I'm going to go to phone system. And you see how this 908-641-2335 has HTTP verified? That means that that's the main phone number for my suite. Okay. You can also go back, and next week we're going to get into like how do you actually text, but I'm going to just send a text to myself. So I'm going to hit this direct message and Jody Dinnerman, add contact. I'll add it right here, 908-399-3499, and Dr. Jody at growstafflist.com, and continue. Oh, I'm already in here. I think what I would do is I would just, I'd go to my contact. I'm going to send Lori a text and I'm going to go sample. And you, wait. You see how the number shows up right here? That's another way you can find your phone number. And I always forget that that's there, but it's there. Okay, so this week, I want you to go into as if you're going to send a text and hit the snippets and make sure these look like your words. Make sure that like the directions to your office hours, make sure these are all you. Some people are like, these look like templates. They don't look like me or personalized at all. Let us know that and we'll replace them this week. I also want you to go over to the email tab here and do the same thing. There are no snippets in this, so I would message the team. I'd submit a ticket here and say, I have no email templates. Can you please make them for me? And our team will go ahead and do that this week. Let's go to newsletter really quick. I don't know if Lori put newsletter templates in this suite. So I'm going to outreach, emails. I'm not teaching you how to do newsletters this week. I just want to build a newsletter template for you this week. Templates. So you should see a newsletter template in here that's branded for your practice. If you do not reach out to our team, and we'll add it this week, this would be for the practice suite. And they're pretty. They're like simple, pretty newsletter templates. We can make it any which way you want. And there's a form for you to fill out, and we'll put a template in your suite for you. Truthfully, my goal with this is for you to never have to use your suite, for us to run it for you, for us to send the newsletter out for you, for us to take care of your messaging for you. But if you're not one of those clients, if you're more hands-on and you want to do it yourself, I want it to be really easy for you to do. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions. Who has questions about anything that I said? You've got just about my whole build team here. So any questions you have, we can answer them now. Chris?
Well, first of all, this is like insane that you built this. This is really gnarly.
Chris, we're
What
not supposed
happens?
to curse.
Um, I'm not allowed to?
No, it's
Well,
fine.
it doesn't matter. You're
Okay.
completely adorable. What's your
Um,
question?
if we port our number, like I have a Google Voice number and we port it and then we get that temporary number for 2 weeks. What happens after the 2 weeks? So we get
Yep.
back to our Google Voice number
Yes.
and
So
so it's just this temporary blackout period that we have to get through?
yep. And during that blackout period, we give you a temporary local number. We
Okay.
text your practice with the temporary number saying, hey, it's Dr. Chris. This is my number for the next 2 weeks. As soon as we get our other number back, we'll text you from it. Please save this number for any and all admin needs. It's a template that we send out. And then as soon as your number is green, it's ready to rock and roll. And I'm going to say it usually takes 3 days. With the longest we've seen it take is 2 weeks. Lori, when is it a long time? Like, what do we see happen?
Well, we are keeping the temporary number for a month just to make sure that everything is working properly until we can switch to the main line.
But when does it happen that we see a problem? Like when does it take forever and ever? Is it like website issues?
It is the building the reputation, to be honest, since we're
Oh,
using a new system.
you guys, there are so many loopholes that you have to jump through to get all of this to move properly. And I really think that we have mastered the system. We've gotten it down as close as possible. I don't know if you guys know this. Jen, I'm gonna call on you in just a second. But um the practice suite was born because I was in private practice while staffless practice was getting busier and busier. And I was using like six different platforms to run my private practice and staffless. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I had a coursing platform, a course platform, texting platform, Jane app, uh, Calendly. I was using so many things and I went to go high level because someone told me about it. And I spent like upwards of 60 hours trying to figure out the system. And I just went in freaking circles and I gave up on it. And I went back to my fragmented system. And then someone told me about Lori. And Lori, this is your party, sister. Lori's in the Philippines. She's on the other side of the world. And I reached out to Lori and I'm like, can I hire you to put this? I have this idea in my head of like, I like pieces of Go High Level. I hated how it's ugly, you guys. Everything you're seeing that's pretty, we made. We used outside companies to make all of this branded and pretty and change the name of the buttons. It was very um, clunky and not intuitive. And I said, here are all the things I want. And I was just building this for my practice, not for you at all. And then I started using it. Once Lori was like, yeah, just give me your list. And we made it. And I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this and this? And we started jamming. And then we built my practice suite with no intention of sharing it. And then my clients started bringing up points like, Jody, I feel like I'm on too many platforms. And at that time, we were using Google Workspace. We were using a different course creation program. I'm not going to say what the name is. And people started complaining because the answer had already surfaced, right? And I'm like, why don't you, then we ran a beta group. I was like, Lori, maybe we share this with my coaching group. At that time, it was just a coaching group. And people went crazy over it. They loved it. And it was like super easy, super intuitive. And here we are 3 years later, and we have run into every freaking problem you could possibly run into. And now we have a whole system around it. And honestly, it's taken a life of its own. And Lori's with us full time, and she has her entire staff. And it's been very cool process to be a part of. Jen,
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. You said earlier that your contacts, if they have the same email address, will merge. I'm wondering about families where a lot of times, like the parent will put down their email address for each child.
Right. You don't want to, there are a couple of ways to go about this, and I ran into this problem too. The only person that I put in my suite was in general, the mom, as
Okay.
long as the mom was on the list. If the mom's not on the list, then I go to the dad or the next person who, there are some families where dad brings all the kids in because mom's doing something or not around, right?
Right.
So I pick one person per family to represent the family. This is where automation can drop and the personal connection can get disconnected. And this is the kind of stuff that we study and study and study. If you send a text to a 2-year-old saying your appointment is coming up, there's a disconnect that happens.
Yeah.
But if you send a text to the dad saying Johnny's appointment is coming up and Johnny's the 2-year-old, it's worth its weight in gold. So
Yeah.
we just have to study and manipulate your contact list, and that's what our team will do for you.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
The other thing I want to say about that is that one of our team members' jobs on a regular basis is to study your contact list in your practice suite and merge duplicates. This happens for us. Like say I throw something out to the community, to the public community, like I'm giving away a how-to and Jen signs up for it, but she decides to use her personal email address. Then I have Jen as a lead and I have Jen as a client. So one of Mark, the person on our team who does this, one of his jobs is every day he goes through new contacts that just entered our suite in the past day, in the past 24 hours, and he'll merge if the names show up over and over again. We only have like 5 or 6 new people each day, so it's not a big job. If you've got a huge practice and you have like 30 or 40 new people joining your list every week, first of all, Godspeed, great problem to have. Second of all, you're going to want someone studying this full time. And that's definitely something that our SIA program can do. What else? Chris, did I get all your questions answered? Okay. What else? Hi, Carrie.
Dr. Jody, can I ask a question about the Land Direct?
Everybody meet Rebecca, our client success manager. She's a complete rock star. I would use the word that Chris just used, but I'm not going to.
Well, I appreciate that. So, and this is a question I'm asking on behalf of a client because it came up. So they have a bigger practice and they were used to having a lot of handheld phones answering calls. Now that they have the practice suite, they have like 3 people still working at the desk and they want the calls to come in, but they want them to be handheld. They want the people at the desk to be able to answer the call on a handheld because of HIPAA and privacy. They don't want the call just coming through the computer. What would your recommendation be for that?
I love that. So we just did this for one of our clients. Lori, please correct me if I'm wrong. We made a workflow. Like any way that you want this wand to satisfy your world, we can say yes to it. Okay. So we made a workflow for a client where from like 9 to 5, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the calls were forwarded to a number. And then they automatically, we did this for James too. We made a
Oh, yeah.
button in his freaking suite where he can turn the call forward on, turn the call forward off. How the challenge with this is figuring out what you want because anything is possible. If you find that it's not possible, you're going to be an overnight millionaire because there are hundreds of thousands of people who are geniuses figuring this stuff out every day. So if there's a way, if there's a will to do it, we can figure out the way. The challenge is knowing what you want, and that's where our coaching staff comes in. That's where Chris will go into Dr. Marcy's marketing desk hours and say, you got to help me figure out what to do with my new people. What do I say to them after my first visit? I don't even know who I am anymore, right? I'm going through that right now. It's like an identity crisis 26 years in where I don't want to see people in their 70s anymore. I'm a pediatric and prenatal chiropractor. It's not what I'm best at. If I'm going to go to the office and I'm going to serve 30, 40 people a week, I want them to be before, during, and after baby because that's where I excel most. I definitely want their grandparents getting adjusted, but I'm going to send them to the person who specializes with, and some people may really disagree with that, but if I only can see 30 people in a week, I want it to be a baby or somebody about to be born or somebody in the belly, right? Or somebody who has a belly or somebody who wants a belly, whatever it is. That's my jam. So I had to really dig deep and ask myself, because I took an oath, and I know I'm going on a tangent here, but I took an oath and I said, I will adjust anyone and everyone independent of whether they can afford it or what their whatever it is, right? And I know what I'm best at. And I feel like these guys, these hands are best at working with moms, babies, bellies, maybe their brothers and sisters, right? Anybody who's shorter than me. So I needed help with someone like Dr. Marcy. Marcy, help me figure out, like, I want to redo everything. I want to make this commitment to the universe that I'm the person who does this thing. I don't do this, and that, though. So I give you permission to really identify who your target, who your perfect practice member is, and build all of this for them. And I also ask you to hold it loosely because it's going to change. As you develop, as you evolve, your way of doing these things is going to change. And that's where the coaching team comes in. They're the best. Sorry, I really didn't intend to go off on that riff, you guys. What else? Carrie, I'm licking his face right now. Oh my God. Anybody else have questions, concerns, anything at all. Just note that the website connects to the suite with a chat widget. So somebody's going to go on your website. They're going to say, hey, on Jason's website, there's a chat bot waiting that says, hey, it's Dr. Jason. How can we help you? Welcome to my website. They're going to fill in their name, their email, and that will show up in their practice suite as a new contact. And then they go into a workflow and an automation. It all comes together. It's really pretty cool. Any other questions while you guys have me? Let me just see. Wait, one more. There's also a banner on the website about the temporary number. Tell me more about that, Rebecca.
That was when you were discussing about if you're doing a bridge, if you're having your main ported,
Right.
there's going to also be a banner. I was just adding that. We will also put a banner on your website that says, hey, please use our temporary number for right now. We will, so that if people go to your website, they'll see that as well.
I love that. We can do a banner on your practice suite to remind your team you have something. We can do a banner on your website, whatever you want, we can say yes to it. Okay, so next week, what are we doing next week? We are going into full send week. How to make a text message, a group message, and a one-on-one, how to make calls, how to send emails, how to use the newsletter template, and hands-on practice with real scenarios. So we're gonna geek out on like, okay, you guys, we're really gonna use your suite. Let's go. If anybody doesn't have all of the things that I mentioned today, please reach out to our team so that we can make right for you by this time next week, okay? All right, guys, I'm loving you from here. Go make the world better with great care, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks for your time.